Hello, and welcome to Fender Play Live. I'm Eugene Edwards, coming to you live from Los Angeles, and today we're demystifying delay. It's used in tons of genres and styles and is an essential effect for any guitarist. And today we're going to break down the different types of delay and show you how to add it to your playing. So let's begin. Helping us with today's topic is the enigma of effects, Nick Reinhart. Nick, say hello.
Hey, good to see you guys.
And also, and hello to Dot as well. Thank you for joining us, Dot, back there. All right. And also joining us is, of course, the one and only Dr. Dylan Caligiuri. Dylan, say hello.
Excellent to be here.
Oh, no,
Yes.
hold on. We're not going to turn on the effects till later. But you're excited. No, you're excited. You're excited, and that's good. Nick is a guitarist who's played with Tera Melos, Deathgrips, Portugal the Man, Best Coast, Disheveled Cuss. I think that's his nom de plume. And he's been a frequent guest, and he's been a host on this show, so he knows what we're all about. Nick, can you tell us what you're playing today real quick? What's that groovy-looking guitar you have there?
This is a late 90s Squier Japanese supersonic, which Squier, reissued a couple years ago based off of like this literal guitar right here, which I think I brought to the office to say, make it just like this one.
Oh,
this is it.
All right. So you're part of the R&D. Can we hear just a little bit of it? Just demonstrate the guitar.
All right. This is we're on my bridge pickup going through a Fender Mustang GTX modeling a Fender Twin. Check this out.
As demonstrations go, that was the most demo-y. That was great.
Thank you.
Well done, Nick.
Got it
and,
across.
and Dylan, what do you have?
I have this lovely Ampro 2 Mystic Seafoam Green Tele Deluxe. This thing is coil taps on both of these pickups, by the way. Watch, I'll play it for you. Check it out. Anyways, this thing. You can make it happen.
Apparently.
Right, yeah.
Two humbuckers and
right.
lots of fire in the fingers. Way to go, Dylan. And I've got the American Pro HSS Strat here, which always sounds like a naval ship to me. And I'm staying in the middle pickup for most of this episode, for all this episode, if I can help it. Now let's get to it. If you have any questions about tonight's episode, drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. Tonight's episode will cover the very basics of delay, all the way to the crazier things you can do with it. So we have something for all level of players today. Let's start with hearing some delay in action. Nick, can you show off a bit with just delay? Just let us hear you do delay-ish stuff, and then we'll discuss what you're doing. You want to do something with multiple repeats, maybe?
I'm going to just turn on a bunch of delay. Let's see what
perfect.
happens.
That's perfect. Yeah, that works for me.
Wild card.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're just spinning the wheel.
Let's see what happens. Wild. Okay. That was my version of delay. That was some delay.
Okay, so all of that was simply done with delay.
All starts with delay, yes. I promise you, those were all delay sounds.
That was like the scene in Willy Wonka where they go through the tunnel, and it's growling. And yeah. The whole,
that's a high compliment.
I saw Mr. Butterworth. I did. So that sounded like not just more than one person, but it sounded like more than one effect. But it was all time based. It was all delayed. Let's start with a simple question, Nick. In the simplest terms, tell me explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. What is delay?
Delay is just straight up an echo of sound.
Okay.
Right? It's just that's all it is. It's just like it's a repeat of a sound that you're sending into this pedal. And that's it.
Perfect. Okay, that's what delay is. Dylan.
So if there's any 5-year-olds out there that have an issue with that explanation, take
it up with Nick.
I can't make it any simpler than that.
I think you did a fantastic job. And Dylan, where did delay originate as an effect?
Yeah, so if everybody remembers those old reel-to-reel tapes, like you mostly see them maybe in like Apollo 13 movies or something like that in the background. But if basically one of the loops was longer, so it was recording what was playing and then playing it back at variable speeds. And so
so they started with tapes, and then they figured out how to put it on microchips, basically, and that's how it's in the pedals that we have. Okay, so that's delay as a concept, pretty simple. It's an echo of your guitar signal, but let's dig into the types of delay and what all those buttons do. But first up, what's the difference between analog and digital delay, Nick? Because this is something that people ask a lot.
Well, this is something I ask myself a lot too. Okay. It's often confused me because, well, analog delay is what Dylan was saying, right? Tape.
Yeah.
That's the realest analog delay would be like if you were standing at a big open pipe and like shouted into the pipe and then heard it reflect back. That would be the most raw analog delay you could get, right? And so then that they were able to like take that concept and apply it to tape, right? Tape machines. And then now somehow, like you said, they take the quality of analog delays and echoes and then somehow made that into a chip. I think they call that the Bucket Brigade chip, right? If you do some
well done or something. Yeah.
And I guess the idea when I think of analog is like a delay that decays because in the tape, right? Like once it starts spinning around, it's starting to like lose its fidelity each time it goes around. Is that right, Dylan? Am I kind of like in the mix there for analog?
Yeah, it naturally starts to lose volume, and also it starts to compress and get distorted, so it starts to lose fidelity.
And sometimes maybe wobbles a little bit, right, on the tape machine or something, and whatever. So those are all digital. Okay, so that's analog, and somehow everything I just said, freaks have been able to synthesize that into like a little teeny guitar box, right? And then digital delay, which I personally am a little bit, I lean towards digital delay, is just a copy and pasted note of exact or input signal of whatever you just put into the pedal. Someone is in there and they do like Apple C and then Apple X or whatever to just copy and paste it.
Okay, so real quickly, so here's what I have right now. We're gonna hear a little bit of comparison. Nick, get a digital delay of your choosing ready. I'm gonna play what I'm using basically the Rockabilly Train preset on the Mustang GTX, which has an analog tape delay type delay, and so you'll hear this. It's kind of a. You'll hear that delayed signal is a little dirty. And it's a little darker than my original signal, if you can tell. Now, Nick's going to play some digital delay, and you'll hear how clean and exact his repeat signal is.
Let's see if I nailed this. Here we go. Okay, now it's decaying, right? It's getting a little quieter as it goes, but each little chunk of a chord is identical in character as the previous. It's just starting to get a little quieter, right? So,
right.
So it's very it's digital sounding. It's fake sounding. Fake, right? Fake delay.
But it's good. We're going to get into why you actually prefer digital delay, and we're going to get into why a little later and hear some really kooky stuff. We have a question already from Chaz R. What is the difference between echo and delay if it's on an amp as an effect? Dylan, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, it's mainly the characteristics that what we would commonly refer to an echo as. So we would refer to an echo as like you're standing in a cave and you yell into the cave and you go, hello, 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 hello. And it has all those kind of diminishing qualities that we were just talking about, right? Whereas if it's regular delay or digital delay, it's pristine. It's basically...
like what Nick just played.
Like what Nick just did. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so let's talk about some common... That was a great question, Chaz. What are some of the common features on delay pedals? Well, we were talking about... There's mainly 3, right, Nick? So let's start with feedback. We'll see feedback as one of the knobs. And then what is feedback, and can you demonstrate what it is?
Yeah, I probably have, like 700 delay pedals behind me.
This is why I'm asking you.
And every single one of them will always have a feedback knob, which is... Feedback just means repeat, amount. So for instance, I'm a big fan of 1 repeat. So this would be if your feedback knob was set to 0, that's not really 0, it's 1. So it would sound something like this. Right? So there's 1 feedback, and then if you bring it up to like, let's say 12 o'clock, which would be 50%, we'll get just that sound that I had before. And then there's this really naughty thing that us freaks like to do, where you just dime the feedback all the way, infinite feedback, which this will vary from pedal to pedal, but we'll just go on forever, right?
And you can have a cup of coffee or something like that. Take Dot out for a walk, and this is, oh boy. Okay, if anybody hears that effect in an old sci-fi movie, you know how they did that in the studio.
Delay.
Perfect. Okay, now delay time, or just sometimes it'll just say delay on a knob. What is that, Nick? And can you show us?
So that's what I just tweaked at the end there, right? So delay time is just the amount of time before the signal repeats.
Okay,
did I
sure.
just say that correct?
Yeah, you did.
So here's a really, really long delay time with my feedback set to about 50%. So check this out. So, like I said, every delay pedal will most likely have a feedback knob and a repeat or delay time. That's the other thing. By the way, just for anyone that's confused out there, like as with most guitar pedals, there's like a semantics thing, and sometimes things are labeled differently with different words. And even as someone that's played guitar pedals for 20 years, it's still confusing to me. So you're not alone if you're confused by the language used on
Be
guitar
forgiving of
pedals.
yourself. Now, this basic slapback delay, this Rockabilly thing I have still too. Now, both the feedback and the delay time are turned down pretty low. The feedback is down at 0, like you said, because I just want one repeat, and then the delay time is pretty quick. That sort of thing. We have a question from Alan Gladstone. How do you achieve slapback delay? I keep trying, but I can never get it to sound right. Oh, I guess I just answered that, Alan. So turn your feedback setting all the way down, and then for the delay time, make it practically all the way down, or start with it all the way down and then slowly increase it, like maybe barely 7 o'clock on that thing, and you'll hear it. You'll just want that one repeat. Really helps just to hit your low E string by itself so you can clearly hear it. You want that little bounce back
check
right
this
there.
out.
So try that. Go for it.
Who just asked that question?
Alan Gladstone.
Alan, check this out. So I have a delay pedal here, and I actually have.
That is
marked.
Look at you.
I have it marked where my slapback, my ideal slapback is. I've even taken delay pedals, and I'll super glue the rate knob to be exactly where my ideal slapback sounds.
We've done that to my 2 delay pedals I use on the Dwight Yoakam gig. They're essentially glued into those pistons. So no, even if they're accidentally bumped or something like that, they're not moving. We also take nail polish sometimes and just kind of mark it there. So yeah, if you find one you like, Alan, it's your pedal, mark it up somehow, okay? Or take a picture.
Also, real quick, there's some pedals that you won't be able to get that like a slapback sound on it, because the range of time is different on some delay pedals, right? Like you won't always necessarily be able to have, like, they're called milliseconds, right? And that's the time that is based, the rate knob is based on. So sometimes I feel like you might not be able to get to, Dylan, what did we decide on earlier?
It's usually between like 30 and maybe 100 milliseconds is where slapback sits at,
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So here's and then also there's usually a mix knob on a delay pedal. And this kind of goes back to what we talked about on the reverb episode in here last year. Nick, tell us what the mix knob is, and if you can kind of demonstrate that, that'd be great.
So mix knob is just really what it is. It's just the amount of dry or wet signal. Sometimes, again, it's a semantics thing where it's not an actual mix. You're not blending, or it could be called a blend, right?
Right.
It could be a mix, volume, or a blend, and all those three can sometimes be different things. But it's basically the volume of the delayed signal. So, for instance, what I was doing at the beginning with this reverse delay, I have the mix dime to full wet, so you're not actually hearing any of my dry guitar. Which is probably a weird thing to like see me playing and not be able to hear it.
That was great.
So
it really seemed like an optical illusion. It did.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's like I thought the Zoom was lagging, but no, it's actually you.
Yeah, so all delay pedals should have a feedback rate and a mix or a volume knob. And
great.
There you go.
Great. And a couple of questions. Let's knock these out. From Mark Petton. Asks, and Dylan, I'm going to let you handle this one. So what makes it different from reverb?
Hey, Mark. Yeah. So first thing I want to say is if you guys want to know more about this, there's a Tone Quest lesson on delay. There's Create Delay on Fender Play, as well as how to use delay while you're playing. Because we're going over this. We're giving you the primer, and you can really dive in deep with those lessons. So just type in delay on the search bar on Fender Play. You'll be able to get into this deep. So Mark, excellent question. Reverb. This is referring to the size of the space. Notice when we talked about getting an echo, we talked about a pipe, like yelling into a sewer drain or yelling into a cave. If I yell into a church, the sound doesn't have as far to, it has to go further to bounce, right? And so the delays all just mush up and create a soup, which is known as reverb.
A big washy sound.
Washy soup, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
As where delay is usually just a straight. It's a repeat of the sound
hitting back and forth on the. Yeah, that's it.
Now,
you got
this is from LM, and this is a great question. God, we should almost just do like a pedal board episode one of these days. Thoughts on the relationship of delay and reverb, and why they generally are at the end of a pedal board signal path. Nick, I think you have a lot of.
He's a rule breaker. Watch out, folks.
Yeah, that's true. But
well, okay. Just about every pedal will react differently to the pedal before it or after it, depending on what the combination is. Some it's very, very subtle, and some it's not. But specifically with delay, I mean, I guess the way to explain it would be like if you were to take a delayed signal, so let's just say a slapback delay, and you're sending that into a fuzz pedal, you're going to be fuzzing out the delayed signal. Whereas think about what
twice the fuzz.
Twice the fuzz. Think about what the opposite of that would be. Right, exactly. So you would be hitting your initial note, right?
One fuzz,
and then it'd be getting fuzzed out, and then you've got your delayed note, which is getting
second
fuzzed
fuzz
out. So that's a lot of stuff happening.
That's a lot of fuzz.
Right.
So then, but think about the opposite. If you were to send a fuzz, a fuzz into a delay, right? It's going to be a completely different sound.
Right.
This might be, I say completely, to my ears it would be completely, or maybe depending on the pedal. But so
your ears
you'd
are
be
fine-tuned to it.
Your fuzz sound would then be being delayed.
Right.
So that's like a completely different thing. And specifically with delay and gain or distortion or fuzz, that's where I notice it the most.
You hear that difference. I think a lot of folks like to have their tones and modulations, eventually they want that sound to be the thing that is repeated. So they put them at the end, basically. It's going to reflect all the tones that you have going on. But that's a great question. Go ahead.
But you might want to do something different. There might be something you're looking for, because that I always have a reverb at the reverb is my very, very last pedal before a looper. But there might be an instance where I'm like, wait, actually, this does like a really interesting thing if I swap a couple things around.
Totally.
So,
well, that's where the question came in, and very thoughtfully used the word generally. So you are allowed to always mix and match, play around with it. You might find something pretty special there. Question from YouTube: can we get some taps, hammer-on, pull-offs with delay? Dylan, I think you've got Flight of the Bumblebee.
I have something
prepared. Would that be good for this? Okay,
to show you guys this. All right, so I'm going to play it with delay first, and you guys will see. And then we'll do it without delay. So let's see. Okay, so you get the idea there, right? So now here's the thing. I am actually playing half as fast as it sounds like I'm playing on that, and I'll show you why. So if I turn the delay off, which I was using one repeat on feedback, which is really similar to the sound that Eugene was just using. And now I'm going to have to play this really fast. So this is going to be, let's see. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Anyways, that's getting ridiculous, right? But so the point is, when I was using the delay, I was actually only playing half as fast during that. So I was using a repeat to carry me over where I just didn't want to practice that quite that hard.
What Dylan is trying to say to everyone out there is using a delay pedal is cheating. And
yes.
we all accept
that. Oh my gosh. At the beginning, when I did that I mean, without the slapback, it's... Oh, wait, I guess it's still on, isn't it? Sorry.
It's half as fast.
It's half as fast, but when I turn it on, it sounds like I'm twice as fast. Pretty cool.
Just about every 80s shred solo that you hear, like maybe not Paul Gilbert, but just about every long hair shredder with like a bright pink guitar had delay on that solo. Just
there you go.
Trust.
There you go.
That was me in junior high, by the way. Just
since we're playing, let's get into some more playing examples and show how it can be used in lots of different genres. And I'll start with some slapback, which was used in the top of the intro, and is used a lot in rockabilly. Frankly, they loved using that tape delay. It was part of the groove. We have a song on the site by Carl Perkins, Matchbox, which is a great first position riff, and it's a. Let's hear that without the delay or reverb, just totally dry. I mean, it's still a cool riff. It's got that blues thing. It's swinging, but it's just not the same. It doesn't have the bounce that really gets people dancing. That foot tapping without the.
It's a vibe for sure.
It's a vibe.
Totally.
It's a real vibe.
Totally.
And surf music uses it a lot too. So in the rockabilly world, it was used all the time. And I know rockabilly guys can get very specific about what they're using for the delay. Believe me. And that carries on. You hear it in a lot of country, Americana. A lot of that rock will always have some sort of delay going on for vibe and also for a little bit of groove. We talked about 80s metal. Dylan, can you play something that's from the side? I think you have a Pantera tune?
Yeah.
Cowboys from Hell.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys have heard this song before. Cowboys from Hell, Pantera. And again, this kind of serves Nick's point, which is like almost everything uses delay that came out circa, I don't know, 1980 on. So let's see. Now you might say, I don't hear the delay, right? It's enough. It's like training wheels, or those, you know, when you go bowling and they have those little things on the side of the bill so that your ball doesn't, and your kid's like, I win every time. So this is basically a quiet slapback delay that gives a doubled effect. It makes it sound like you're double tracking your guitar, and it's one of the coolest parts about delay.
Which is, that's like a subtle example. And then we get like, not so much cheating, just creating a little bit more ambience and like, depth to that part, as opposed to like, if you were to crank that and maybe set the delay time to be a little bit later, then that's kind of where the cheat comes in, where it's
that would be the
cheat. That's a cheater.
Yeah,
You're cheating.
You spot him a mile away.
Yeah.
So, but we can use it to create grooves. There's obviously the Edge from U2 used it really well, because that's basically a trio. That's basically guitar, bass, drums. So he used it from the get-go to make a bigger sound. And Nick, you have something with that. Is it the dotted eighth note is kind of the key ingredient?
That's the Edge thing, right? The dotted eighth note, which is, I think, has something to do with maybe a triplet or something.
I believe that's correct.
It's like ba-ba, 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 I think, right? So
there's an accent to it.
This is a digital delay, which Edge is all digital delay, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that guy's probably ever owned an analog delay pedal in his life.
No, because you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, you can't tap tempo on them.
So this is what the digital delay with that Edge dotted quarter note sounds like. Right, so it's like da 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 da, and other guitar pedals that have the dotted thing will maybe add in one more. I don't know, but anyways, here's the song. And now listen to it without it. Right,
different album, but anyway,
it's not good. Weak. That's like beginners right there. But then you add in your little delay. And, that's like not cheating. That's using the delay as like its own, this personality to the guitar riff. That's
I agree.
half of the guitar riff.
I agree. It helps establish a complete groove in and of itself. And also, yes, they generally make anthemic music. So there's something anthemic about the way he uses it. And I think it's really well done. And let's face it, he sparked a whole generation. We heard it for a decade and a half at least.
Also, good point about there's 2 harmonic instruments in that band. Really, just there's guitar and bass filling that the harmonic sonic space. And like, so he was, anyone that's interested in pedals and effects should check out The Edge, because he was like way next level. But he did quite a lot for being like that format of a band. He made a lot of interesting sounds.
Here's another example. Here's a song that we have on the site. David Gilmour from Pink Floyd used delays a lot of different times. Here's the first solo to Comfortably Numb. Actually, it's a relatively tight delay, but it also has note subdivisions. It's kind of got a wider spread, and especially when he makes these half note bends, you really hear that delay pay off, because you have a minor second, you have 2 notes. Those 2 notes will sit next to each other, and for a minute they rub against each other, but kind of makes this really sweet thing. So here's the solo, and just notice on the bends how that reverb plays out. Same thing when you use the tremolo arm, when you're just affecting the pitch of one note with some reverb and delay, you kind of get this nice little dissonance there that kind of, again, gets anthemic. Please.
Can I try?
Do it.
So you want me to, with the whammy bar? Okay, let's see what happens.
I want everything, Nick. I want it all.
Okay,
this is when I was a kid and I was messing around with delay, if I could get all the dogs and cats to leave the room because of the chaos I created, I knew I had something pumping.
Well, which, by the way, just for any like of the 5-year-olds watching that are like, how is he making that sound? Well, all you're doing is that speed up kind of cartoony thing. You're just altering the rate while it's repeating.
Rate or delay. The word back to the nomenclature.
The delay time.
It may say delay, but just mess with that rate.
So by the way, so if you're just doing this and you have like a really slow time, it's just adjusting.
Well, let's talk about other types of delay, Nick, before we run out of time. I know that you have something with pitch shifting, and there's actually a Tera Melos riff in which you use it. So tell us about how you can use that pitch shifting, and let us hear that.
Yeah, so a pitch shifted delay. I mean, there's so many different, like we've talked about the really basic stuff, and then now people do all sorts of like really interesting takes on delay. Not that this is like a super groundbreaking thing, but basically the delayed note that's coming out is actually pitch shifted. You could set it to be whatever note you want. And in this instance, I have a riff that I thought, that might sound interesting if the percussive delayed note that came out of it was actually pitch shifted up a 5th interval. So without it sounds like this. There's a Tera Melos song. It's the bridge of Trash Generator, and without the pedal, it sounds like. With the pedal. And I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, remember when I said I like 1 feedback?
I was here when you said it. Yeah,
that's right. We talked about that earlier. I remember that. If the feedback were anything beyond 1, it would get kind of messy and cluttery. You know what I mean? You'd get the do da da do da da do da 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 do da da da. And it's not as clean and succinct.
Right. So that's why that sounds so precise.
Yes, exactly.
Because of that. And I know you have reverse delay prepared, which I think it's almost like, sounds like you, back to Dylan talking about those old tape to tape reels for the delays, like you flipped one of the tapes and played it backwards, right?
Literally, right, Dylan? That's what
Yeah,
that would
it's
be.
literally.
So you hear this. This will have a very Beatles Hendrix quality to it because they were some of the first people to do this with a guitar. This is really heavy.
And again, one feedback, fully wet mix. So there's no dry guitar in that, which is why you're only hearing the reverse.
Now,
Right,
what
we're
state
hearing-
of mind would that be supposed to stimulate? I wonder, folks. I mean, what could have possibly, that's like
Dream,
yeah.
deep
Let's go with
REM.
Dream.
Deep,
go with that.
deep
A
REM.
deep REM say. One more cool effect. I think you can make a motorcycle sound, right?
Yes. So this is going back to our what I was saying about digital delay, and Dylan, you had mentioned that.
Why you like it? Yeah.
So I one interesting thing is, like with delay time, rate, whatever, like removing as much space in between the notes as possible. And some pedals you can get very, very like microscopic with it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
To like kind of this degree. Let's see what happens. I think this is kind of what I opened with. So here's. Now let's remove some of that space. I mean, that's technically delay, right?
All just delay.
It's just delaying my input that I'm sending it, except they're really, really close together, and I have my feedback up quite a bit. So yeah, it's a cool sound.
Wow.
I can't believe
Wow.
Dot is so used to this. So Nick, can we hear you just improv for a few minutes with all the delay you have going on there? Can we just kind of get this, just a crazy display of delays before we get to the homework?
Yeah, okay, let's see here. Let me see what I could do. I'm gonna take the time. I'm gonna start with some pitch shifting delay with the time as just deep as it'll go.
Okay.
Well, let's see what that does.
Sit back, Dylan. Watch the
Oh,
master
watch
paint
out.
here. Yeah. Now,
Right.
that was fun. Now, not many people know when Dylan was a baby, the
Delay.
mobile above his crib played that music, which actually explains a lot.
I got to
I
say
just
one
love
thing.
delay. I love
That was
delayed
fantastic. I really
sounds.
liked it. You guys, if anybody's really interested in knowing more about the origin of this effects in general, if you look at somebody named Carl Stockhausen and you look
Oh,
at
yeah.
the origin of this is actually an escapism from World War II. And the young people of France and Germany wanted to make sounds that sounded like nothing that was related to anything of the past because they wanted nothing to
Classical
deal with it.
music's gone, all that stuff. Yeah, put it
And that's
behind them.
where a lot of the mythology in Led Zeppelin and other things came along later. But initially in France, they had musique concrète, which is
Yes.
basically Foley music. They're playing with the sounds of trains, and they're sort of manipulating them and then Carl Stockhausen and people like that took telephone test equipment.
Yep.
And they took single frequencies and started to work with effects like this. And that's where electronic music comes from.
You can do a deep
Actually.
dive on that stuff. It's really fascinating
So,
what they were doing at that time.
It's
Well
more than
played,
just
Dylan.
a parlor thing. It really is.
We have one last question from Ryan Coleman on YouTube. Nick, what's your pug's name?
Oh wow, we got a newcomer here, right?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
My pug's name is Dot. She wants to say hi real quick. Let's see.
Oh dear.
Come say hi real quick.
Normally we let sleeping dogs lie, but oh no,
But not this time. Oh, look at that.
Her name is
I'm
Dot.
sorry.
I was going to ask to get a mirror under her nose to make sure she's breathing, but
just precious.
there you go. And we'll have Dot on an episode to kind of get into. I think the Mixolydian
I
scale
might
is her
set
thing.
like
Flat 7.
a microphone up to her nose when she's sleeping, and then
Yeah.
delay it and
You'll
do
put a
some
delay on
like
it.
music
Sure.
concrete
Escape.
type stuff.
Perfect. Very concrete. Well, thank you so much, Dot. Thank you, Nick, for that. We're going to move to the homework, which is going to be Dylan's corner because he's got some cool assignments and he's going to demonstrate some of them just so we have some clarity there. But if you have more questions, don't be afraid to keep sending them in. We'll try and knock them out here towards the end of the episode. Dylan, on to you in the homework.
Yes. All right. Now, if you are a beginner and you've watched this episode and you are perplexed at all, I don't want you to be perplexed. I just want you to take a delay effect on your modeling amp or a pedal or borrow somebody's pedal and just put it on and just start to experiment what it's like to play with delay on. That's it. Just jumping around. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be perfect. Just give it a shot. Just try it. Now, intermediate. Now it's time to up the ante, right? So we're going to try a 8th note delay, and I basically want you to play some riff on Fender Play and set the 8th note delay on there and see if you can time the 8th. This is what we were talking about earlier, saying it's cheating. It's actually not. It's really hard to play in time with delay because you have to play in time or the delays start to get off, especially as you go on. So we were joking around with you guys. But so if I have an 8th note delay set, I really do have to... This is actually a quarter note. I apologize. But so if you're intermediate, 8th note delay, find a lick, play it. Something small is fine. Advanced.
Here it comes.
Okay, so if you're advanced, dotted 8th note, that's the edge sound, right? I want you to get a dotted 8th note delay. That's going to be that little note with the flag on it. It's got a dot next to it. Turn it to that, okay? Get like 1 or 2, 3 repeats in there using the feedback knob we talked about and grab a riff, okay?
Nick
Try to time it.
Nick has a dot next to him.
I got my own.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Right.
It's word, yes.
Yeah.
Word
Okay,
spec.
everyone,
That's like
you
a
got
dotted whole note, actually.
Don't oh, yes, Farrell, lovely. Yes, she looks like a whole note. That's true. All right, Dylan, let's get to the Fender Play segment, man. Let's give away some stuff.
Yes. Okay. Now, we've talked about this many times before, but if you're new or here for the first time, we actually give away gear at the end of the show every week. And I'm not kidding. We've given away dozens, if not hundreds, of pieces of gear, P basses, J basses, guitars, amplifier. I mean, the list goes on. Virtually anything. And all you got to do to win this piece of gear is simply join Fender Play, use it for 21 minutes or more. It's actually free to join right now. And you're automatically entered to win. You don't have to do anything after that point. And then we could be calling your name at the end of this. Now, do you guys want to hear who won this week?
Yes, please. Yes,
Give
please.
me
Yes, please.
something that's
Give us
delayed.
some crazy delay drum roll sound. Just some sort of wacky, build attention.
Escapism. Tension. Tom G! It's Tom G! Tom G!
Way to go, Tom G. There you-
Congratulations, Tom.
Way to go, Tom. Enjoy your new bass, guitar amp, whatever it is you choose. Congratulations. Dylan, what else do you have? What's the Fender Play update?
I've got something pretty exciting for all of us folks. There's a full song on the site. Full song meaning you learn the whole thing. I mean, if they cough in it, you're gonna have to learn how to cough like
That's
that.
right.
It's the song "Creep" by Radiohead. Do you guys remember this song? So, guitar's a loud tune, but and then the part that everybody likes, that 'cause I'm right. You get to do that. Sort of look. You want to be complicated when you play that song. Don't be simple. So this is something you guys got to give it a shot. It's awesome. It's definitely worth trying.
Great chord changes. Beautiful chord changes.
Yeah.
Is the chorus the same as the verse?
Yeah.
I'm a creep,
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I mean, you really only have to learn 4 chords for that.
That's right.
song,
And there's
right?
actually 3 sections of the song, technically, but it's the same chord.
But
changes
2
all
non-diatonic chords. Refer
That's
to the
right.
last episode to check
Yep.
this out, guys.
Yep.
And it's
That's why
really
it
just
works.
3 chords because there's the C major and then the C minor. But that's easy. You just
You're gonna
move
be able
one
to do
finger.
this.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to do it.
Nick, I think you got this one. Thank you so much for helping us with our deep dive into delay. Now we want to hear what you have coming up. You have anything to plug?
Oh wow, I'm on the spotlight here. No, just hanging out.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
coffee. I like playing with stuff, and I'm working on things. I always
Well, your
have things coming
Instagram's
up.
really good.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
just-
God. Yeah, please. Yeah, Mitch, what's your handle on Instagram?
My name on Instagram is just Nick Reinhart, my regular name. And yeah, if you just kind of keep your eyes peeled, I'm always kind of just
He
working
does
around
weird stuff. He makes like the iPhone ring with a guitar.
Oh, that one's
he makes
good.
the sound of that one. It's a lot
that
of
one's
cool
good.
stuff. So it's very inspiring stuff, Nick. So don't sell yourself short there. Everybody else, I'm thinking we'll have you back for more effect deep dives, I'm sure. Everyone else, keep safe.
Yeah.
Keep practicing. Oh, and thank you, Dylan. I'm sorry.
Thank
sorry,
you,
Dylan.
Eugene. Thank you.
Terrible
You guys did a
manners.
great job.
Terrible
Darn it.
manners.
Darn
Keep
it.
safe, keep practicing, and we'll see you next week at the same time, the same bat channel. Everyone, let's play out on a G chord with weird delay effects. Go, 1, 2, 3, 4.